Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Drago Dog Walk Talk. It's going to be a short one because it is like 94 degrees for the Fahrenheit bound, or 34 degrees outside. So we're going for a relatively short walk because he ain't going to handle that heat too well. Yes, Russia gets that hot and hotter. So we had a cold July and June, and we're having a very hot July. It's been in the lower 30s for the last couple of days. So what I'm going to talk about today is, well, I may get flamed by some of the MAGA crowd that haven't woken up to reality yet, but you know, it is what it is. You know, I watched a video the other day of a Trump cabinet meeting. My God, it reminded me something of these worst movies or videos of old Soviet, or maybe, I don't know, North Korean, old Soviet style meetings, where each head of their department praises the great leader and how everything is going great and it's 110% and this or that and that and this. You know, you're looking at what the U.S. economy is looking like these days. And all you hear is the great praise for the great leader, and your leadership is so great. And I was like, fellatio, it's oral fellatio. Verbal, let me phrase it. Fellatio is always oral. Verbal fellatio for the president, you know, pumping up his ego. Like, my God, you people, none of you people have any shame. So then you see this, the MAGA crowd screaming that, you know, and Trump comes out there, we've collected $200 billion in tariffs. See, tariffs work. Okay, I've done videos on how tariffs should be properly used, which in this case they're not. So, $200 billion. You know, there's a Russian saying, бесплатный сыр только в мышеловке. Free cheese is only in the mousetrap. You're not going to get free money. Those $200 billion just didn't appear in the pockets of Uncle Sam. And no, the manufacturers sitting over there, wherever it's coming, the goods are coming from, are not going to swallow those costs. Let's just begin with that. Unless the manufacturer, the importer, and probably the distributor happen to be the same, one and the same company. Like some of the companies, like even Apple, actually, the manufacturer is not theirs. Not anymore, anyways. They still have contract. The manufacturer has signed a contract for a certain amount of money per item that they manufacture. You can't come over there and say, well, now you need to suck up another 40%. I mean, you could. And more likely they're going to tell you to go bounce. So that money, first of all, tariffs are paid for not by the manufacturers. They're paid by the importers at the port of entry. That's where the duties get leveled. When it comes into the U.S. at any of its ports, yeah, that's where they pay for it. So already you got the manufacturer paying for it. The importer paying for it. Second of all, importers are really going to suck up a huge tariff. But even if they do, first of all, two things are going to happen. Either A, they're going to pass all or some, more, even if they do suck up some of it, it's going to be at least partially passed on to you, the end consumer. So you're already going to be paying more money for those materials or what have you that gets imported. And if it's made in the U.S., it's almost always component-wise made at least partially somewhere else. So those component costs are going to get cooked into the end product cost, and you're still going to wind up paying more. And by the way, sales tax is proportional. So as you pay more on that, you pay more taxes also to the state government or the municipal government in the U.S. or VAT in Canada and other countries. So you're still going to get slapped with even more taxes, because so as the price of the material goes up, so do the taxes go up instantly upon purchase. Then, even if the companies are sucking up a portion of that, guess what happens to their bottom line? It shrinks. Guess what they pay their taxes off of, corporate taxes, off the bottom line. Guess what happens? They pay less corporate taxes. There is no free cheese. Somebody always has to pay. So if the government is getting money from tariffs, it's getting less money from corporate taxes, but the state government's getting more money from sales taxes, from you, having to buying those items. So one way or the other, baby. That's why I'm all for, oh God, good Lord, I am all for the 500,000 billion million, no, it's actually just 500% tax of Light and the Loafers, Graham, and his buddies of no exceptional intellectual capability. By all means, bring it on. That's basically a U.S. tariff war with most of the world, because most of the world deals with Russia. Whether it's our manufactured goods or our raw materials or half-finished goods, what have you. So you're telling India, who's now, by the way, the biggest refiner of oil outside of Russia, that, you know, look, if you want to keep dealing with America, you have to sabotage your entire economy. Sure, the Indians are going to go, well, why not? Let's have a little revolution here. We'll just sabotage our entire economy, drive everybody into deeper poverty, and just so we can sell something to America. What exactly do they sell to America? If those plants don't like it, they'll move, but where are they going to move to? And here's the kicker. So like it or not, taxes are going to go up on the sales taxes by volume. Even if the percent doesn't change, the volume you'll be paying more regardless. Taxes will go up, per item costs will go up, and you get to be poor. Because the proper way is to bring factories back, but that takes a lot of effort. That takes a lot of effort. It doesn't work I just said it and that gets done. You know, you got to do things like, oh, I don't know, increase the U.S. literacy rate from effectively 33% of the population is semi-literate, another 21% of the population is illiterate. So basically you have half the population that can barely read and write or can't read and write at all. Yeah, and these people are going to work in a modern manufacturing facilities? Are you friggin' serious? Are you friggin' serious? What are you thinking? Of course not. Never mind all the idiotic rules, conditions, requirements at municipal, state, and federal level for anybody who wants to open up any kind of manufacturing. The lack of adequate infrastructure like, oh, I don't know, electricity to power those factories. Believe me, about 80, in an industrialized nation, 70-80% of your energy resources go to industry. They don't go to the public. So when you don't have enough as is, like the rolling blackouts in California and other states in the U.S., when you don't have enough as is, what industry are you planning on opening? And the more automated, the more cost-efficient that industry, the more energy it needs. That's right. That robot sucks up energy. And you can't feed that energy by just giving them a hamburger. So there's that. How are you going to do it? Who the hell knows? Because, you know, that would require actual thinking and planning, which is way too damn much. Way too damn much to expect from an American politician who's too busy making sure that the Epstein files are disappeared. You know, the very Epstein files that Trump used to hammer Democrats with are now non-existent. Could it be because Netanyahu paid a visit to Trump's house, the White House, the American affiliate of Israel? Well, we don't know. It could be that, because after all, the amount of people that were being blackmailed across the West is very impressive. Just look at the pictures that have come out, or the videos that have come out of the people that were located at least once in their lives in one of these underage sex parties, or let alone on the Lolita Island. You already know that, you know, basically all the major families in the US and the UK, including Prince Andrew, the King's younger brother, they're all on these lists. Luckily, the list never existed. That's right. Pam Bundy, I am going to get to the bottom of this. You will have the list. The list is on my desk. The list is being reviewed. The list never existed. So either they're taking you all for being total moronic idiots with an attention span of a squirrel, or they're so desperate you're just going to lie through their teeth. It's like Solzhenitsyn said, we knew they lied. They knew we knew they lied. We knew they knew they lied. They knew that we knew that they knew that we knew they lied. And he was writing about the Soviet Union. My God, I will tell you, modern U.S. is becoming a parody of the collapse of the Soviet Union. I mean, it is like a poor modern Saturday Night Live skit parody. It's not one even that anybody's with any kind of talent has put much effort into, that kind of level of parody. It is ridiculous to watch what the U.S. has turned into so quickly. Question is it Trump's war yet? Now, Trump's officially said he's going to send weapons. Of course, the 10 didn't quite understand, because in some places it's 10 launchers, in some places it's 10 missiles. Well, 10 launchers all full good and great. That's basically 2 batteries. Oh, it could be 1 battery. I think they can have up to 12 launchers. I'm assuming he's going to be sending American soldiers there to die with that battery when it gets hit by Iskander missiles. I mean, there's no Ukrainians to man it, so I guess it'll be Americans. But don't worry, as Graham said, no Americans are dying. No Americans would care to count anyways. They're not real people anyways. After all, Graham's constituent and Trump's constituents aren't Americans. They're Israelis. They're the people that count. Everybody else, not so much so. So yeah. So there's that. Who's your constituent? Who's your daddy? Who's your owners? It damn well isn't. Well, no, I guess some of it will be. Some of them are American, at least American born. They're called settlers. They're over at Israel, or some of them, I guess, are back in the U.S. waiting till the missile launches stop, or round 2 with Iran ends, before they head back to reclaim their so-called birthright in somebody else's land, like in the West Bank or in Gaza. So I guess some of those are the constituents of American politicians. But the rest, you just need to pay your taxes and need to do your duty for dying for Israel, as your better sir damn well going to tell you. Because why? Because it's the greatest ally the West has ever had, or some such. Or at least it's the best paymaster the Western politicians have ever had. I mean, my God, who else spends that much money in kickbacks on Western politicians? Absolutely no one. The Saudis tried for a while, but the Saudis aren't even rich enough to compete with this. And they don't own the media. So, there's that. There's that moment of clarity for everyone. Oh, Lord have mercy. It's interesting to watch. I mean, I'll tell you straight up, it is very interesting to watch, especially now that the masks are really off. It is impressive. I've got to say, it is impressive to be able to buy everything, just about everyone in Congress, a president, and not the only president, a president who's a billionaire, and you can still buy him. My God, man, you want to talk about powerful. The peasants in the U.S. really have nothing to compare. They don't matter. It's late stage oligarchy moving into tyranny. If any of you bother to read Plato, you will understand what I'm talking about. Plato's Republic, which wasn't about being pro-republic, quite the opposite. Showed how those republics die, partially. So yeah, there's that. There's that moment. And it's impressive. It is very impressive. So Trump's going to be sending more weapons to Israel the day after they stop sending weapons. I'm sorry, not Israel. Israel never gets enough weapons. Trump is going to start sending weapons to Zelensky the day after they said that they weren't going to send any more weapons to Zelensky, because, you know, my God, I mean, the man, I had a bipolar girlfriend in college. She acted like that. It's like, you know, morning and evening were 2 different people. That's what Trump seems to be like. I mean, it's schizophrenia. You know, the dog's talking to him, giving him voices in his head. I don't know, but this is just absolutely ridiculous. I get asked on Russian television, "What do you think? What do you think motivated in Trump, or you know, what's in his head?" Like, I don't think Trump knows what's in his head, because the man, I mean, it's day and night, from day to day. You know, how do you trust anything an American president, in this case Trump, says or wants to negotiate with you? I mean, who are you talking to? It's almost like multiple personalities. I mean, who are you talking to? The guy's telling you one thing, setting you up to get killed, then he's screaming about how everything's great, it's going to work out. Oh, wait, I never knew anything about it. Never mind, I just told everybody I did, and I dropped Truth Central, that, you know, I did. know all about this assassination attempt and all that. And it's just, it's a, who are you dealing with? Or is there multiple people on the same account? Yeah, so late stage republic. If you think that your votes matter, that you can change anything, you can't. And that little party, the American Party, which, there's 2 other American parties registered in the U.S. There's over 50 parties registered in the U.S. You'd never know that. Because the whole American system's set up, the founding fathers of America were trying to make a system that wouldn't support even a single political party, right? That everybody would have to be on their own, which is ludicrously utopian insanity. To think that humans won't band together. I mean, my God, we're a clan, a tribalistic hunting animal. We hunt in packs. We're pack hunters, endurance pack hunters. You know, you don't think we're going to band in packs, even if it's just one organization like the U.S. Congress? Of course they will. So, in this case, the civilized pack is a political party. So the founders of the U.S. in this utopian stupidity try to create a system with no parties. Read up the federal papers and other documents like that, and they'll tell you, you'll read all about it, basically, that, they wanted a system with no parties. Most Americans have no idea what their own founding documents say, or philosophy theories say. But the problem is, they set up a system that can only tolerate 2 parties. And that's, in a modern version, it's not even 2 parties, it's 2 wings of 1 party. So this is what you have. If you think you can be able to come in there, set up a 3rd party, yeah, I got a bridge to sell you in the middle of the desert. Ventura, when he was governor of Montana, he wasn't going to win. He was coming in to the final debates with about 6% of the vote. And since he was a wrestler, he's supposed to be an idiot and all that. So the Republican and Democrat candidates, they decided to add him to the debates. Laugh at him. But they never checked not only was the man a Navy SEAL, that 3 tours in Vietnam, he was also very well educated. Being a wrestler was just a career move. It's acting. It's soap operas for men. That's all American wrestling is. So he came in there and he opened his mouth, and 2 weeks later he won the vote with over 60% of the vote. Because all of a sudden the people heard that there's actually other ways of doing things than the way that the Republicans and Democrats are telling you. There's other options. Well, that was on a governor level. Well, the Republicans and Democrats learned their lesson. If you look at it, there will never be a 3rd party candidate or a party candidate from either of these 2 wings of 1 bird party that isn't fit to be shown on television by the powers that be. They control the debates. They control the setup of the debate. There's a joint Republican-Democrat committee that controls everything about how that debate is going to go, who's going to be in that debate, what questions are going to be asked in the debate. You don't think so? Go read it up. Go read up and go look up reality. And that is the reality of it. There's going to be no chances of having another Jesse Ventura popping up. Nope. Not anymore. So that's the system. The system is absolutely owned, controlled by your betters. And you have zero influence over that system. The only way to actually shame that system is to have such a small voter turnout that the obvious elections are fake. And most of the people don't give a damn. That's about the only way that you get around it. But yeah, that's the problem. The elections don't change anything. They don't decide anything, and they never will. Mark Twain very correctly said 140 years ago that if elections determined anything, they would be outlawed. That's right. Things have gotten only worse after that. Yeah, I can see the picture starting to freeze up. The sunlight is warming the phone. The phone's getting to a point where, yeah, it's going to be screwy. So anyways, that's my very short talk today. We're heading back because Drago's pretty much done for the course. God bless. We'll talk later. Cheers.